Hi, this is Kelsey with Story Saving. Today I'm going to show you how to create a custom photo collage for your scrapbook page. Within Photoshop, to create this collage, I'm going to create a new blank file by going onto the File menu, selecting New, then Blank File. For this collage, I want it to be 11 inches wide by 5 inches tall, and for printing reasons, you never want to choose a resolution below 300 pixels per inch. However, you don't really need anything more either. The human eye can only see that many, and creating more pixels per inch just makes a bigger file on your computer. So now that you have your dimensions chosen, just select OK. For this particular layout, I wanted to make sure that all of my photo spots were equally distant from each other and that they were perfectly straight. So I chose to enable the grid option within Photoshop. First of all, I chose the grid dimensions that I wanted by going into Edit, Preferences, then down to Guides and Grid. I chose grid lines every 1/4 inch or 0.25 of an inch, and then 4 subdivisions. So my lines that I can see on my layout back here are about 1/16 of an inch apart. You can now just select OK. If your grid lines aren't showing, you can make them visible by going to the View menu, then making sure there's that check mark that shows up next to the grid option. For this layout, I want to make sure that all of my photo spots are 1/8 of an inch apart. For my first photo spot, I'm going to have it on the left side over here, and I want it to be 3 1/4 inches by 4 3/4 inches. So I'm going to go back into Photoshop. I'm going to select the rounded rectangle tool, and for my rectangles, I chose to have the corners have a radius of 30 pixels. I'm going to start an 1/8 inch in from the top left corner, and then, oh, I forgot my size, 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. So 3 1/4 starting from an 1/8 inch in would take me right there, and I'm going to go all the way down. In the blog post for this tutorial, I will provide all of these dimensions, so I'm going to pause my recording for now and come back when I have all of my boxes drawn. Now that I have all of my photo spots created, I am ready to insert my photos. For this part, I'm going to turn my grid off because it just makes it harder to see my photos. Once I created all of my boxes, I saved my collage as a layered TIFF file, and you can see I saved it and named it Rebecca's Collage. I'm creating this particular collage for my aunt to put onto one of her scrapbook pages. I also opened up all of my photos, and you can see them in my bin along the bottom. To add my photos to the collage, I want to make sure I select the correct photo layer, so I'm going to put this photo in the blue spot right here. So I want to make sure I choose the blue spot and the blue layer is selected. Then I'm simply going to click and drag my photo up onto my collage. It's a little small, but because I dragged it on, it created it as a smart object, and I can resize it without it distorting the resolution or quality of the photo. It'll look a little funny at first, but once I get it all fixed, it'll be just fine. You want to make sure to make it just a little bigger than your photo spot. Now that it's sized correctly, I can hit the green check mark, and you can see Photoshop resize it and fix the resolution of the photo. My corners aren't rounded yet, and that's because I haven't created a clipping mask out of my photo. To create the clipping mask, all you have to do is press Ctrl and G on your keyboard, and you can see that the photo took the shape of the layer behind it, and over here they're kind of grouped together in the layers palette. And I will just continue to do this with the rest of my photos. Now that I have all my photos in place, I'm ready to save my file as a JPEG for printing. So I'm going to save it so I make sure I have all of the layered files intact as is. So just hit File and Save. And I'm going to actually rename it Rebecca's Collage Finished. And these settings will all work just right for this collage. Now I'm going to choose File, Save As, change it to a JPEG, and hit Save. I always save at the highest quality, which is 12, and as baseline standard. And now we're done, and it is ready to be printed and sent off for creating my scrapbook page. Thanks for joining me today, and as always, I would love to see how you use this tutorial to help you with your scrapbooking. Thanks!